Your financial struggles are not random. They follow a pattern, a specific, recognizable, and that psychological pattern. Researchers in financial psychology have identified 5 distinct money personalities, each with its own strengths, its own blind spots, and its own specific way of getting in the way of wealth. Today we're going through all 5. Pay attention, because most people are a combination of 2. Hi, I'm Hana. This is Mind Bloom, Money Personality 1. The avoider doesn't check their bank balance. Not because they're irresponsible, but because looking feels genuinely threatening. They don't open financial statements. They postpone tax filings. They agree to financial commitments without fully processing the numbers. Is not laziness. It is anxiety management. At some point, money became associated with something painful: conflict, scarcity, shame, helplessness. And the brain learned, if you don't look at it, you don't have to feel that. The cost of this strategy is enormous, because every financial decision you don't make consciously gets made by default. The subscription that runs for 2 years unnoticed, the interest that accumulates unchecked, the opportunity that passes while you're not looking. If you're an avoider, the work is not to suddenly love finances. It's to build a system that requires only minimal looking. Automation, scheduled monthly check-ins, a trusted partner who helps. Small doses of exposure consistently. The worrier thinks about money constantly, checks their balance multiple times a day, runs mental calculations in the background of every conversation, every meal. They are not unaware of their finances. They are hyperaware, to the point where the awareness itself is debilitating. Unlike the avoider, the worrier is fully engaged with money. But the engagement is driven by fear rather than strategy. They often undersave, not from carelessness but from anxiety that the money won't be there anyway, so why bother? Or they oversave, hoarding cash in low-yield accounts because the thought of investing feels like gambling. The worrier's core belief is that financial disaster is always one event away. And that belief, while understandable, often rooted in real experiences of financial instability, makes it nearly impossible to take the calculated risks that wealth building requires. If you're a worrier, the work is distinguishing between useful financial vigilance and anxiety that's consuming resources without protecting you. Money Personality 3. The spender uses money to feel things. Not always luxury, not always excess. But spending, the act of choosing, acquiring, owning, provides a reliable emotional hit, stress, a sense of reward, a brief feeling of control, a moment of pleasure in a difficult day. The spender isn't irresponsible. They're often generous, optimistic, and socially generous in ways that make them genuinely enjoyable to be around. But their relationship with money is transactional in a particular way. Money flows in, and money flows out almost as quickly, because holding on to it serves no emotional purpose. Spending it does. The spender's challenge is not to stop spending. It's to build a structure where some money leaves their hands through investment before they have the chance to spend it on something that feels good in the moment but builds nothing. Automate the investment. Pay the future self first. Then spend what's left, freely and without guilt. Money Personality 4. Where the spender can't hold on to money, the hoarder can't let go of it. The hoarder saves aggressively, but not in service of a goal. In service of security. Money in the account feels safe. Spending it, even on something necessary, even on something that would generate returns, feels like losing. The hoarder may have significant savings and still experience financial anxiety, because the number is never quite enough to feel secure. They underinvest, because investing means giving money to something uncertain. They underspend on themselves, because every dollar spent is a dollar less in the buffer. And ironically, their savings sitting in low-interest accounts. Losing ground to inflation may grow more slowly than if they'd taken the calculated risks they've spent years avoiding. If you're a hoarder, the work is understanding that money kept still is not money kept safe, and that security, in the long run, comes from what your money does, not just from its presence. Money Personality 5. The risk taker is drawn to the big play, the startup, the crypto bet, the investment that could change everything. They find conventional financial advice, index funds, gradual accumulation, compound interest over decades. They want acceleration, transformation, a financial story. And they are often genuinely talented at identifying opportunities that others miss. The danger is not risk itself. Risk, intelligently managed, is how wealth is built. The danger is that the risk-taker's relationship with excitement can make ordinary, reliable wealth building feel like failure. So they swing for transformation while the foundation erodes. If you're a risk-taker, the work is building the boring base first. Index funds, emergency fund, debt cleared. Not instead of the big plays before them. Because the big plays hit very differently when you have a foundation underneath than when you don't. Now, which one are you? Most people, when they hear these 5, recognize themselves in at least 2. The avoider who becomes a spender when the anxiety gets too high. The worrier who hoards cash because investing feels too risky. The risk-taker with a spender streak who swings big and spends big and wonders why nothing accumulates. The combination matters as much as the type. Because the strategies that help a hoarder learning to invest, learning to spend with intention, can be actively harmful for a spender who needs to hold on more, not let go more. Understanding your specific pattern is the starting point for changing it. None of these personalities are flaws. All of them have roots that made sense in an earlier chapter, in an environment that shaped how money felt before you had any choice in the matter. The avoider learned that looking was painful. The worrier learned that disaster was possible at any moment. The spender learned that pleasure was the fastest available relief. The hoarder learned that having was safety. The risk-taker learned that ordinary wasn't enough. These were adaptations, not character defects. The question is not what's wrong with you. The question is, which adaptation is running your financial life right now? And is it still serving you? Drop your money personality in the comments. I'd genuinely love to know. And share this with someone whose financial pattern you've always recognized but never had words for. I'm Hana. See you in the next one. Take care.